Hey everybody, and welcome to Nite New York City with an XR Startups Pitch Night. Today we have 4 up-and-coming XR startup founders who will preview their pitches. They're all competing for a spot at the Startup Pitch Competition that will take place at AdagioVR USA 2023 in California on June 1st. So we're counting on all of you for some really friendly and productive feedback. I want to thank you all for joining us here on AdagioVR Live. Where are you guys joining from? Please share with us in the chat. AdagioVR Live is a free online platform for the XR community to learn, connect, and grow. It hosts a non-stop stream of online XR events like this meetup. And here are some of the upcoming events that will stream on AllLive. You have some fantastic podcasts, webinars, sessions, and a lot more on-night meetups, all the way from Finland through Italy, Nairobi, Kenya tomorrow, and all the way to San Francisco. On-night meetups are now running in 34 cities around the world. You can see the map here. And they're all hosted right here on AdagioVR Live, so no need to look elsewhere. The latest additions are in Seattle and Mexico City that will soon announce their upcoming meetups. And since you're already here, check out the awesome people on this platform. There are over 12,000 XR professionals on AllLive, and you can access them all in the people directory on the right-hand side bar and connect with them. There are also some big in-person events happening this year. You have the first and probably our biggest and best event ever, AdagioVR USA 2023, is just 50 days away. Everyone in the XR industry will be there. So make sure to get tickets before the early bird expires, which is just in a few days. And if you're a startup founder and want to compete as well, there's still time to submit your pitch. You have the link right here on the bottom of the slide. The deadline is also approaching on April 21st. After that, we'll have AdagioVR Asia. It will be this year in August in Singapore. A much more international event than we've had in the past in this region. With a lot of companies from that region as well as from the rest of the world. Open to international exhibitors and visitors for the first time after a few years. So that's going to be awesome. And after that, we have AdagioVR Europe happening in Vienna this year in October, and it's going to be awesome. Now, to sweeten the deal, since you're all here on this wonderful AllLive platform, all the on-night members get an exclusive 20% discount. So use this code when you register. And again, make sure to do it before the early bird expires, and then you get a double discount. Just a quick reminder about the AdagioVR Academy, which offers courses for the XR community. Here are some of the two of the courses that are happening pretty soon. So just go to AdagioVRXR.com/academy and sign up. And of course, make sure to sign up to the XR newsletter in your inbox every Friday at the same website. And of course, follow us on social for the daily updates about what's happening in the XR industry. All right. Now we're ready to get into action. We're going to talk today about XR for mental health wellness, about generative 3D, not just conversations. We're talking about some cool 3D stuff, and about something we don't often talk about, how to use XR for decision intelligence. Let's get to meet our stars for tonight. We have, it's just 2 p.m. here in New York City, but pretty late in Europe, and we have presenters from all over the world, from UK, Bulgaria, Israel, and even from Canada. really a selection of founders that are coming from up-and-coming XR startups covering these important topics. So we're going to start with each presenter will have 5 minutes to pitch, followed by some questions and answers. And so feel free to share your questions in the chat, and I'll pick those questions and we'll get the CEOs and founders to respond. Would love to see some lively conversation in the chat. This is what we're all here to have a sense of community and some interesting conversations. All right, now we're ready for our first presenter. Give it up for the CEO of Float VR, Doron Meir.
All right, so hi, I'm Doron. I'm the CEO of Brain Switch Labs, and we are building Float VR. So let's talk about mental health just a bit. We're in a mental health global crisis right now. We had COVID, then wars, then the economy, and then now AI is changing everything. So people are struggling more than ever. And mental health at the same time is also changing right now, going through a big paradigm shift towards digital and remote and people healing from home. So where's the problem? Well, the problem is that this is not what it looks like for most people. For most people, this is more close to what it looks like. And the problem is that we need to heal. We need inner quiet. We need to regulate our emotion. To do that, we need space. This is why when we want to relax, we go to the ocean, we go to the mountains. This is why spas are designed the way they are, right? So how do we deal with the situation where now most people obviously choosing to heal from home, but home is not necessarily a good choice for everyone? Well, we here know what the answer is, right? VR is a way is basically a portal for anyone to get any environment they want, and this is being done. Companies are doing that. We're at Float. We're taking it not one but two very big steps further. First step is that we've identified a combination of ingredients that not only supports regulated states, it actually activates them. It's very hard not to be in that state when you're in there. The other step is that we took this ingredient and we basically created the generative architecture around it. So why is that important? Well, first of all, generative means infinite options. We change a few parameters, you get a different environment. The other thing, though, is that it means that we can adapt in real time with machine learning, with artificial intelligence, biofeedback, motion analysis, all those things to give you the exact experience you need to heal, because it's very individual. And this is great for self-help, but the other side of the story, which is very, very big as well, is Float for therapy. We are giving some very strong tools for external control and content creation for therapists, where they can work with it from anywhere in the world. And this is why we're hearing stuff like that from experts. Float takes you into a different state of consciousness in a controlled way without the dangers of other tools. So it's really a game-changing tool for therapy. Now, how do we know this works? First of all, we started testing Float at the very beginning with the UBC students. We had a pilot, very successful. Then we continued to release an early access demo. Excellent feedback. We get good numbers. And then we are also working with therapists, where we see more than 85% of the sessions are improved with Float. And we got a letter of intent from Shalvata Mental Health Hospital in Israel, where an independent study has been approved and already started. Obviously, Float generates enthusiasm across the entire spectrum. That's why multiple tiers make sense. Each use case gets their own the appropriate price tag and set of features. The market size, we have 3 markets. They're all big. They're all growing. Of course, VR is a growing industry, as we know, both in the private sector and in healthcare. Who's doing it? We're 4 super experienced founders. decades of experience between us in doing VR, AR, film, animation. Basically, we know how to create amazing experiences, and we're working with this amazing team of independent researchers doing the research in Israel. And that's it. There's a grand vision behind Float. There's a lot more to tell. So if you want to hear more, if you want to take a part of this, I'd love to chat. Thank you.
Awesome work. Great job, Doron. So tell us about some of the plans that you have for the upcoming year.
Yeah, so the first step is we have our first paying customer, a therapy clinic in North Carolina. We are now working to validate with a small group of therapists, paying therapists that we're going to work with while we're validating and so on. We also have the research happening, and then we're going to go from there. We're of course raising capital right now, and in the next 18 months we're going to get to about 200 therapists and 10,000 VR users to use Float and enjoy it.
That's an impressive number. How are you gonna get to all these users?
So first of all, we're seeing very good conversion rates with our very kind of like the beginning of our we did some experimental campaign, and we've seen some really good results. We're going to use influencers. Float is amazing for streaming because it's different every time. So that's, and there's a lot of conversation about that. Also, content creators who are influencers to actually have their content in Float. On the therapy side, we're going to do webinars and seminars. We're basically going to expose this through training, basically showing people how it's working, but also partnering with associations and big groups of therapists. We're already getting introduced to those kind of groups because the therapists are very enthusiastic about it. They always go like, "Oh, I need to introduce you to this and that and that." So yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a very timely solution. On one hand, we see mental health or the need for mental health treatment is kind of on the rise, and generative content is on the rise as well. So it's very timely. So tell me, what brought you into this world? Well, I think you joined already an existing team at some point, right?
No, so it started with me and a friend basically during COVID, and we had this idea because the way I keep my sanity is walking. This is what I like to do for sanity. Part of the reason is this kind of like a low level stimulus. So when it was COVID, and the weather in Canada is not always perfect, we thought, what if we could go for a walk in the park in VR, but the park is trippy and it changes every time. So it was just a fun idea. But then very quickly from the get-go, we had people saying like, hey, this is really doing something for me. This is breaking my brain loops. Somebody said this is making me vulnerable in a good way. And we were like, and then we got into some tight spots mentally, COVID and everything. And it works like Advil for anxiety. Basically, in 5 minutes you're in a different place. And so that's when we went like, okay, there's something here that we have to look into. We showed it to a psychologist, and she was like, oh my God, you have something here. And she showed it to a professor. So it kind of rolled from there. But also I've been dealing with my partner and with myself with some ADHD situations and so on. So for a long time I've been, I wrote a book about the creative process that is basically like, how do you solve this as an ADHD person? I didn't know it at the time, but now I do. So I've been the combination of art, which is where I come from, animation and so on, art, amazing technology, and helping people directly is a once in a lifetime thing for me, and it's a thing worth fighting for.
That's fantastic. Still waiting for more questions on the chat, so stick around to see if you get any more questions. You can answer it in the chat directly. For now, we need to move on to our next founder. So thanks very much, Doron. Keep it up. It's awesome work. All right, folks, our next presenter is for something completely different. Give it up for CEO and co-founder of Scios.ai, Maya Mateva. Take it away, Maya.
So hi, my name is Maya Mateva. I'm a co-founder and engineer at Scios.ai. We are developing platform for strategic decision intelligence for consumer markets. What's the reality without us? Creating strategies for optimizing your budget, how to reach your targets or keep your brand health and sales positive, or how to craft your message to your users. Right now it's difficult, expensive, slow, and very, very uncertain. And at the core of those strategies is that it all depends on your consumers' decisions. And what Scios platform does is that it harmonizes multiple data sources like sales, prices, distributions, your users' perceptions and drivers, and not only for you, but for your competitors as well. And in Scios platform, you create a digital twin of your market, of the whole market, not only on your brand or your product. And once the data is inside the platform, we create many thousands of virtual consumers. We simulate how they behave, how they retain information, how they do something with the product, how they purchase, how they decide on doing something. And based on it's at the core of the algorithms is a lot of networking science, behavioral science, decision science, how people communicate. And once those virtual consumers are trained, you have the power with Scios platform to predict, optimize, and prescribe, and to enable you to say what's the best marketing strategy. What will happen if I change the price of my product? What will happen if I release a new game and I have no historical data for that? What will happen if I do a promotion, and so on? And the way it goes is that we facilitate inputting the data in the platform. Then the model is calibrated through that historical data for you and for your competitors, meaning that the virtual consumers and their way of thinking is established in the platform. And once that's done, you can run different analysis, like what's the churn and retention for your subscribers, what's the sensitivity of your market. We provide tools like Goal Seeker or Budget Optimizer. And at the end, you can even run different hypotheses to see what will happen if COVID comes, what will happen if a new competitor comes to the market, what will happen if you change your investments from Facebook to TV, for example. And at the end, you can compare all those different scenarios, see which one is the most beneficial for your brand, not only for sales perspective, but for brand health metrics like perception and consideration. So you can create a whole strategy based on the Scios platform. The platform has been developed for 13 years. We have pretty amazing users so far, including some from Fortune 500 companies. And what's the difference between us and the other players in that ecosystem is that we are the first consumer-centric platform for strategic decisions. Based on the digital twin we create and based on the consumers, the behavior we simulate, you can prescribe, optimize, and run as many as you need to what-if scenarios and run hypotheses to see what is going on and what you need to do. Currently, the opportunity is pretty impressive, I think. The decision intelligence sphere ecosystem is supposed to be 36.8 billion by 2030, while the digital twin is supposed to be evaluated to 156 by 2030. The way we work is that we provide, like, let's say, two models. One of them is model as a service. It's one project, many users, so that one model for one industry is created. The other one is subscription-based. It's for multiple projects, for one user, for a license for 1 year. But in both cases, we try to align our vision with our clients. We help them get to know the platform and feel confident in the accuracy of the platform so that afterwards they can deliver answers daily and help them strategize. Our core team is pretty experienced. Every one of us is at least 15 years in the sphere he's proficient in AI, agent-based modeling, complex software architecture, finance, and marketing. And we try to keep to cover the basic aspects of product development and growing a business. So what if you want to know how to do something and how to reach your goal?
All right. Fantastic work. Thank you, Maya. It's something you don't see every day when it comes to XR, so really exciting to see it. So I'm kind of wondering, I mean, you chose the word of digital twin to describe these models. What kind of brought you to use that term, and how do you see it kind of in a, do you see it actually in a spatial way where, you know, you immerse into it and you actually take advantage of some of the benefits of XR?
We actually create the way people behave in the platform. So we recreate only the decision part of the brains of the consumers, so we can get some insights from that. Meaning that some people are more inertial to some decisions. If you want to try something new, you consider it a little bit more if you are not aware of it or not. And yeah, we create digital twin of your market with all your competitors, all the other players in the industry, and then you can run analysis and see what will happen if that in that digital twin.
So how does it look? I mean, when you create this model, is it something you look on a 2D screen, or you actually go into VR or some other kind of immersive way to be able to see it?
We provide the analytical part, and that part that is interactive. When you know your market, you can say our product is more like from the strategy point of view. So what you should do in order to achieve a goal, and the virtual consumers are more or less more virtual than those in the virtual reality. And we simulate only their brains, not the way they live, but rather the way they decide on something.
So why did you choose to use the term digital twin? How do you kind of what's the relation there?
Because we create a digital twin of the market with its dynamics, the perception of the consumers, the sales and revenue dynamics of it, the marketing activities. So we recreate the way the world in that market works. So both from the strategic point of view and the virtual consumers, the way people behave, the way people choose to do something, choose to buy something, choose to buy a Coca-Cola, for example, or Toyota, let's say. And we simulate the mechanics of that decision process.
Cool. Can you give us an example of one of your, early customers of how they're using it and how they actually how it helped them make certain decisions about their business? Something that everyone can relate to.
Yeah, Netflix was a client of ours a couple of years ago. They were struggling a lot, and their targets were pretty bad. So they decided to use our platform to see what they need to do. And actually, it was pretty amazing because the answers from our platform were that they need to create at least 80 original contents, original series in order to keep them up in the ecosystem. And actually, that did happen because they created, as far as I know, 78, and their stocks got pretty high. So right now, Netflix, you honestly have us to thank for shows like Orange is the New Black and all those things from Netflix.
Yeah, we're very grateful for you for that. Yeah. But I mean,
I am as well. I love Netflix.
How did they actually figure that answer or that kind of insight from looking at the analysis? I mean, that it's a very specific number, like 80, and so can you give us a sense of how they were able to view that insight in the models that you provide them?
Well, we have a couple of tools that you can use to optimize your strategy. And as I mentioned, you have the option to run what if scenarios. And in it, you can say, what if I stop investing in Facebook, for example? How those people will react, how they see my advertisement, for example, how they will behave if I stopped having friends, for example. Pretty bad decision according to me. But yeah, so you can test different hypotheses, and it's like your imagination is the border, let's say. So you can test all those things that you can think of, and then see what will be the result. You can compare the different strategies. For example, if you choose to run strategy for 20 original stories, or no original stories at all, or with friends or without friends show, and so on, and you can afterwards compare the results and see how that will be that will affect your sales, your revenue, your brand health metrics like perception and consideration, for example.
Awesome, got it. So do you have any message for the AR and VR community, for the AWE people, how they could engage and help you in some way?
I think our platform is awesome for strategic decisions. I have seen it giving value to a lot of products, no matter their nuance. For example, that there's no historical data for those that release new products, or they want to keep their brand up to date and their brand being positive, for example. So yeah, just give it a go.
Okay. Basically, give it a try.
Yeah.
What's the best way to try your solution?
Just ping us. We can talk a little bit more to see what's your case. We can showcase the platform and then go forward.
So just reach out to you on Scios.ai?
Yeah, Maya Scios.ai.
Maya Scios.ai. Fantastic. All right. Thanks very much, Maya. That was a great job. All the best for the rest of the year.
Thank you.
All right. We're moving fast, and we're ready for our next presenter, coming all the way from Israel to join us today. Give it up for the CEO of VREE.ai or VREE.ai, Adib Zaher. Adib?
All right, so I would like to present to you VREE.ai, a company that turns 2D images into 3D models for AR shopping. I'm Adib, the co-founder and CEO. We are big believers in AR shopping, and we think that the number one reason AR shopping is still not widely adopted is because of the lack of content out there. 3D models basically for AR, for products that are sold. And so, 3D models are expensive to create, time consuming. It's sometimes the catalog is too big and the project is too complex, and there's a big logistical problems involved. And so the barriers are high to create 3D models that are fully representative for products, for companies, and it's a big hassle. So we created a solution that turns 2D images into 3D models in a very seamless and automated process at low cost, instant results as well. We also provide a solution, a platform that can store, manage, and optimize these 3D models with a virtual try-on solution integrated automatically. You don't need a third-party solution for that. You can download, you can share as well the 3D models. And basically what you need is a couple of images in the input, and then the output is a 3D model fully representative of the actual product, keeping all the qualities for commercial levels. And so I'll show you a quick demo of that image you saw in the slide. So this is the 3D model that you saw in the slide. And to create this 3D model, I prepared here beforehand a couple of images I took from a random website, and I gave it a name. I just click create 3D model here, and the process starts. I just created that 3D model. It was created now. I'll do it again. I'll just do it, immediately live for you guys. I choose eyewear by link. I just choose a couple of images. I take the front image, and then I take the side image. Right, and then I create 3D model. That's the whole process. Now it's processing. It's gonna take a few seconds, and then you're gonna get this 3D model here that was just made a few seconds ago. If I click on it, it will open, and here you go, that 3D model of that couple of frames that I just created. You can see it's almost identical. You can download it, you can try it virtually. There's already integrated in the solution, and yeah, it's done already. So this is how quick it is. Let me get back to the slides. Now I have to stop sharing again, I guess, and go move to the slides. Right?
Cool. Very good demo.
Okay, I moved to the slides again. The slides, yeah. Anyway, so back to the slides. And so who would use these kind of technologies? We are now targeting 3D modeling studios, 3D designers, virtual try-on providers, of course, businesses who want cost-effective solution, and individuals who want to use these 3D models across all the e-commerce platforms and social media platforms. And just to give you an example of how cost-effective this solution is and time saving, if you take an eyewear shop that has 1,000 items in the catalog and compare it with competitor A and competitor B, competitor A being the low end and competitor B the high end, with competitor A it would cost him $30,000 almost, and the process would take a couple of months to be finished. With competitor B, it would cost about $120,000 with over 2 months of process. With VREE, it would cost about $4,000 being paid on a monthly basis and ready the same day. So that guarantees positive ROI almost immediately. And regarding the market size, the market is estimated to get up to $27 billion by 27. And the top categories in that industry would be furniture, apparel, accessories. We tend to focus on wearable accessories, kind of accessories that you can virtually try on yourself using a virtual try-on technology, some kind of strategic decision that we took. And in terms of go-to-market strategy, we are targeting now businesses that will sell these 3D models to their clients in terms of services, and they would pay per model. Basically, depends on the volumes that they use. In the phase 2, we're gonna target businesses that want a cost-effective solution to offer their clients AR shopping experience on their website. And lastly, we would target, of course, all the e-commerce and social media platforms. So any individual could use it for its use. In terms of traction, we are targeting mainly a couple of verticals now, eyewear and footwear. We want also to go into watches. So in terms of process with the eyewear product, as you've seen, we are almost having a complete solution with 80% to 90% success rates. We still have these crazy designs that our machine is still learning. Footwear is still at the beginning. We have a platform in beta. We have virtual try-on integrated. We have our first major deal with the first major client, and we just received a $600,000 grant from the Israeli chief scientist. This is our founding team, highly technical and talented. Me taking the business aspect, and this is the view from our office. Come to visit us. Send me a message if you want more details. Thank you very much.
Great job, Adib. Love the view. What makes you want to go on a cruise?
Why not?
Awesome. So Adib, fascinating technology, and I can tell you that since I got into AR over 15 years ago, the biggest problem was content creation in 3D. It was very expensive.
Yep.
It was all manual. You had to try to outsource it to reduce the cost. It was always very complicated. Then we saw a few companies that came up with automated with quotes ways to create 3D content from 2D content.
Yeah.
I know that it always required some manual work.
Yeah.
And now you're claiming that it doesn't require any manual work, and it looks like it's really instant. So how do you do it? I mean, what's the whole kind of wave of generative AI and the latest innovations in the last couple of years made the difference?
Well, there's been lately a lot of research is coming out of the academy, basically, for the last 3 years in this field. I'm not technical. I leave that job for the brains in the company. I'm the muscles. So the technology is evolving, and the technical aspect of the product is being handled by our technical team, but I know that they are doing a great job training our machines, implementing new strategies, new technologies, new ways, new methodologies into the solution to make it work as you've seen. And so I think we're just in the beginning. Within a few months or a year or so, we're going to see even a much better solutions and much better results, including our solution, maybe other companies. We know that there's many companies out there trying to get to high-level solutions like we did with the eyewear. The question and the biggest challenge now is how you get that from one vertical or two verticals into all the verticals out there. A solution that can fit all products, that can be implemented on any product and give you a high quality result, good enough for commerce solutions.
Cool. Yeah, Doron is asking how do you differentiate from other 2 to 3D solutions? It looks like probably a lot of these companies are jumping on this bandwagon of the latest work from the academy. So what do you have like other differentiators in the way you approach the market, or some the quality of the product?
What we've seen so far from the other solutions in the market, that there are always manual work involved in the solution. Basically, the part of the process is automated, and then there is a lot of manual work, and that doesn't basically solve the problem, because you still have to do the manual work, and the solution cannot scale or cannot be providing a good enough solution to generate 3D models on a large scale. Basically, what we offer here, a solution for big companies who wants to generate 3D models instantly, in a very quick process at large scale. So I had this conversation today with big clients who knew about our technology just today, and they have a campaign they want to launch it a week after Ramadan, like in 2 weeks. So this wouldn't be even possible. It's not even a question to launch a campaign in 2 weeks with a catalog of thousands of products. And with our technology, if they are quick enough, they will be able to do that today. So this makes a big difference for companies, big companies mainly.
Can you name a company that is already using it or trying it, or not yet?
Well, we signed a major deal with one of the biggest and one of the leading companies in the world. We still haven't signed the final details, so I'm reluctant of speaking names now. But there's many companies that are talking to us right now, mainly in the eyewear industry. There are few. I guess you can name them on one hand if you want, but until we sign the deal with them, I cannot speak that name, unfortunately.
Makes total sense. Yes. Now tell me how. I mean, you can go into Midjourney or DALL-E 2 today and upload a 2D picture and ask it to create a 3D model out of it. So how is your product different than some of these kind of off-the-shelf, almost free options?
The difference here is that we take this to a commercial level. You want a 3D model that is fully representative of that SKU. So, Midjourney would generate for you a 3D model for a shoe or an eyewear, but it's not related to the SKU that you are selling in the website. So the whole point is taking the images from your product page and turning it into a 3D model in an instant process.
Within the website, because you have potentially thousands of tens of thousands of products. You cannot just do it one by one. Makes total sense. So there was kind of an interesting comment from Maya that especially when you generate the glasses, you want to be able to try it on the website on your face. There are a lot of websites that are offering this. So she's asking, are you considering also offering that part, or you leave that to other companies which specialize in that?
We have our internal solution. We have an integrated solution. I just explained that it comes, within the package. Some companies have their own virtual try-on solution. They can use it. You just download the file, the GLB file. It's a standard file. You can use it anywhere you want. But we also offer for businesses, mainly small and medium businesses, who don't want now to start, trying to find third-party providers for the virtual try-on solution, because we just want to lower barriers, not add barriers. So the 3D model that is generated comes with a virtual try-on solution integrated with it, and it comes with no extra cost, actually.
That's very, very cool. So I think we have time for one more question. And, I saw in the tool that you're kind of offering a special, template or solution for eyewear, which seems like that's kind of the first vertical you went into, where you have higher degree of success. What are some of the next types of verticals that you think you'll be focusing on? And especially, you mentioned that in terms of the market opportunity of furniture, seems to be like one of the biggest opportunities. So what's the next one you're going into?
Yeah, well, we are now finishing our first vertical, basically moving into our second vertical, which is footwear. We realized that there's a lot of demand for footwear, huge demand for footwear. Actually, it's expensive, very expensive to create 3D models for footwear, and we are now started our first steps into building the pipeline for the process and started training our machines for footwear. Furniture, as I said, we are, as a strategic decision we took, we focus only on accessories that can be virtually tried on your body, because we sell the virtual try-on solution as well with it. So we focus on that. There's few companies in the ecosystem that already target furniture, but we decided to just focus on other verticals like eyewear, footwear, and the third vertical would be watches and jewelry. So that would come, I think, in Q3, Q4 of 2023. Depends how it goes with the footwear. It's a very challenging problem. I must say it's a very challenging situation for footwear basically, and we are doing our best to make sure that it will be ready by end of Q3.
Awesome, honest words from a founder. Awesome. How can people try it, or do they need to buy the solution?
Just send me an email. We'll give you an access with free credits that you can use and have fun with it. I'll be happy to do that.
What's the best way to reach you?
You can reach me by email, I guess is the best way. My email is adib@VREE.ai.
Okay.
I guess I'll write it here in the...
Yeah, you can write it in the chat so everybody can find it. All right, thanks again, Adib. Great job.
Thank you.
And now we're ready for our fourth presenter today, coming all the way from the UK. Give it up for CEO and co-founder of AdagioVR, Sanya Rajpal. Give it up.
Hi everyone, I'm Sanya. I have a question for you. What if we could truly overcome mental distress? What if we could finally get rid of addictions or unhealthy habits? What if we could create access to cutting-edge science before a crisis? And what if virtual reality was the way to get there? So, what's stopping us right now? As we've already heard today, and we all live the truth every day, mental health is a global crisis that costs at least $1 trillion every year and affects between 65 and 85% of the population. Unfortunately, most of the solutions available right now are too little, too late. Services are hard to access, unengaging, or lack substance. On the one hand, you have digital therapeutics, which maybe offer relaxation, tracking, and a little bit of community support. On the other hand, you have primary healthcare that should do something at crisis point, but rarely does. And in between, there's not much governance, not much support, and not much science. So what's the real problem? How do these issues come to be in each of our lives, and how do they affect the world? So what really happens is that unpleasant life experiences leave a mark on how our mental cognition works. And then we develop involuntary emotional responses over time, which can become hard to manage and affect our daily life way past their use. And that's where we develop unhealthy coping mechanisms to take control. But often, these unhealthy coping mechanisms become a bigger problem than the initial trauma or distress that we were trying to manage. Think about addictions being the worst version of this. And finally, burdens become too heavy over time. Some people get ill, and some people just suffer in silence their whole lives. Sorry. So there's a market opportunity. Something that's scientifically robust, autonomous and self-led, offers quick and meaningful impact, that's accessible, convenient, and financially viable, and finally, available to people at early intervention and prevention stage before they get ill. Introducing AdagioVR. We're a well-being, high-performance, and behavior change solution delivered in virtual reality. We offer the ability to unburden individuals so they can unleash their potential. My co-founder is a leading psychiatrist here in the UK, and the program has been developed over 3 to 4 years of testing to integrate a set of clinical and therapeutic techniques that enable users to identify and disrupt the cognitive processes that create distress and can lead to illness over time. Powered by one of the most effective therapeutic techniques in the world, which has been recommended by the American Association of Medicine, NICE here in the UK, as well as the World Health Organization, but yet remains extremely expensive and hard to access, that is twice the effectivity of standard therapeutic approaches. We've been able to provide 97% positive response rates from our users in the first 4 years of testing. And since we've become commercial in late 2021, this has only increased from there. So why do we use VR? Honestly, Using VR is not convenient. I'm sure all of you here know, if you're developers or founders or working in startups that use VR, that it is not a convenient or simple model of technology to use yet. We're building the foundations of the industry, of the technology, and what's possible with it. But for us, VR was the final missing piece in being able to translate these powerful solutions into daily life. So that's where for us, being able to take the clinical, the machinery, the therapists, all of that, and turn it to something that normal people could use was the number one reason we use VR. And more than that, we're able to, through VR, multiply the mental health outcomes for our users through additional therapeutic techniques that VR allows us to do. And finally, we are able to create a powerfully immersive and uniquely private experience where users don't have to actually reveal what they're dealing with in detail to anybody, not even a stranger or a therapist, or even the app itself when they don't feel comfortable to do so through VR. And this is why this technology has transformed what we believe is the future of the mental health and well-being industry. So our business model is primarily focused on B2B with a little bit of B2B2C. We have two lenses at which we look at. One is high performance and second is high impact. So on the high performance side, we're looking at pro athletes, founders, just like we are, it's a difficult life, CEOs and corporate context, as well as pro athletes and high performing individuals, as well as luxury and wellness, hospitality. And finally, on the high impact, we're looking at those who need mental health support the most. We're actually starting a project focused on a transgender community alongside a group of researchers from NYU, Cambridge, Oxford, LSE, and Maastricht. And we're also looking at partnerships with humanitarian aid workers and healthcare workers. So our core priorities are scientific excellence, which hopefully I've been able to convey throughout my presentation so far. We're really focused on access and prevention, and finally, partnership-led. We really think of ourselves as a solution that can be integrated into any organizational needs that our partners have. So we're able to design the technology and our expert service delivery to work alongside them on their terms and for their needs. So for individual impact, we see immediate relief in the first 20-minute session. We've seen an average of 40% improvement for our users, and over 8 to 16 sessions, which is about 2 to 4 weeks, systematic transformation of what an individual is dealing with. This ranges from smoking to cocaine addictions to burnout to stress, anxiety, phobias, etc. And then going on to organizational outcomes, we look at 3 levels of KPIs. Mental health outcomes, so those I've kind of gone into in detail, and then engagement numbers, and we really try and use, and in our product roadmap is excellent and immersive technology that allows us to boost engagement. And then finally, ROI. Our assessments show that we have a 10 times ROI on the investment an organization makes with us. This is a kind of example of our product lines, which go from workshops, 1-month programs, 3-month programs, and a subscription model. We're building towards that last one, but at the moment, we supplement a lot of what we do through expert service delivery. And looking at our journey so far, we started off taking a clinical therapy and an additional set of techniques which cost between 1.5 and 3K, and turning that into something that people would use on their own terms in a way that was financially and logistically accessible. We saw a positive response rate of about 97% from those first 200 use cases during our testing phase. And since then, becoming commercial, we've had significant growth as well. So meet our founders. One of them is me. Hi, I'm Sanya. I'm the CEO. I take care of the operations, etc., of the organization, alongside my co-founder, who's also my father, who's a leading psychiatrist here in the UK. Our backgrounds, along with the rest of the team, this is some of them, is leading experts across tech, across operations, across medical and social science research. And now I ask you this question. What if we could permanently free people of what holds them back so they can let it go and get it all? Thank you.
Great job, Sanya. Fantastic. It's a very important mission, and you're making a very good case. That's a great job. I wish we could see how it looks in VR. I know we probably need some VR headsets, but can you give us a sense of what are the visuals? How does it actually feel for the patient or someone that is actually doing the treatment?
Yeah, so I'll tell you about the kind of the user experience in general, and then the actual VR experience. So when we work with organizations, first of all, we make sure that our users and the organization communicate with us their direct needs. So if that's burnout, if that's addictions, if that's kind of low mood, depression, stress, anxiety, etc., we first design the service delivery, the workshops, the consultations around those needs that the organization has. And then there is a one-to-one session that each user right now is delivered through with an individual human being who's an expert to ensure that person isn't clinically unwell and therefore needs to be redirected to appropriate resources. And at that point, the user has the ability to use the VR program and the mobile app. And essentially what it allows you to do is identify the root sort of cognitive processes that might be creating distress in your life, that might be holding you back, creating burden, or are limiting your performance. And through the VR program, you're able to address that and disrupt those cognitive patterns. How that works is, if I ask you, what was your favorite thing to do as a kid?
Play soccer, I would say, or football in the UK.
Yeah, so you're already smiling, right? You're not playing soccer right now, but why are you smiling? And it's because you have those happy memories, and attached to those those memories is happy emotions. So maybe, if you just watch someone playing football, you may get a boost of happiness from that, that thread of memories in your life. That's how positive memories work, but that's also how negative experiences, negative emotions, and things in your past that are holding you back can also create distress in the present. So, if you're holding a heavy rucksack, maybe for one day it's a bit painful, but over a month, over a year, over 10 years, eventually you'll drop, right? So what this program allows you to do is put down that heavy rucksack and finally take a breath. So you're able to address complexity and whatever else each of us has to achieve in our life, or with our family, with everything that we do, from a bit of more freedom and lightness and a bit more choice, rather than just responding from the past, whether or not we realize that's what we're doing.
So in this case, it will be focused on sort of a conversation, so asking questions and getting the person in the treatment to kind of respond to that, or is there like a sort of a virtual professional that is in front of you, or it's more visuals that would make you feel more comfortable?
Like the way we like to explain it is that it's a choose your own adventure video game that allows you to, without realizing it, and more feels like you're sitting in a nice, beautiful environment, be that mountains, be that in the middle of this space, like the way the AWE imagery is, or sitting in a beautiful library, whatever it is that user feels safe or relaxed in that environment, through a set of they are led through a script that allows them to disrupt those cognitive patterns. So they're actually not interacting with a either real or virtual person. So it's completely private. So that's where, people who maybe don't feel comfortable speaking to a stranger about their problems, or that's not culturally viable for them, that's not something that's, comfortable. This allows them to very quickly offload the heaviness they're carrying around. And what often we find is at that point, they actually want to talk to someone, or they want to write it in the app that, okay, this is the thing that I was actually dealing with and I was able to overcome.
All right. Thank you, Sanya. How can people engage or help you out in some way? We have a lot of people from the AR and VR community here.
Yes. So I think if you would like to try it, please get in touch with me. We're predominantly based in the UK and in India at the moment, but we are looking at the US. We're still a baby startup, I have to say, and we're bootstrapped because we're trying to do this high performance and high impact together for various reasons. So at the moment, we only really work with organizations. So if you're in an organization where you think that there could be a benefit to the well-being or the high performance of your teams, your staff, student service users, etc., please reach out. We are really passionate about collaboration and delivering a lot of value. And then in addition to that, we are looking for the right type of investment that aligns with our values and aligns with the way we're approaching growth. And also find me on LinkedIn, find AdagioVR on LinkedIn or Instagram, and stay in touch. We're really excited to connect with the VR community. Till now, I think we've been more on the medical side. We're working with kind of economic and health researchers rather than on the VR side. And that's where we're now taking our direction as well. So I'm open to connection, collaboration, and working together for innovation.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Sanya. Cool name, by the way, for the company.
Yeah.
Let's
actually,
get all our... That's all the time we have for today. Let's get all the speakers back on the screen for a final thank you. It's been wonderful to get to know you all. Fascinating startups. Wish you all great success this year. Hopefully you'll make it to the finalists at the AdagioUSA Startup Pitch Competition. Give it up, everybody, for Adib, Maya, Doron, and Sanya. And if you want to reach them, you can see the contact info in the chat. This video will be ready for people to watch at any time here and on YouTube. So more opportunity to engage with more people. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Ori. Bye-bye.